Welcome back to Pro Ticker Podcast. Today we're doing a deep dive into Nvidia, the chip-making giant that's been making waves and big waves in the tech world. We're going to be talking about their stock price, which has absolutely skyrocketed, those cutting-edge AI chips that everyone's talking about. And we'll be discussing whether all this is just hype or a true generational opportunity, as some analysts are saying. So what about you? What sparked your interest in Nvidia? What's got you interested in this company right now?
Well, Nvidia has been on my radar for a while, but it's really been hard to ignore lately, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's been hard to ignore. So let's jump into this Barron's article from October 18th, 2024. It kicks off talking about NVIDIA's stock performance. Get this, it's up 177% this year alone.
Wow.
Yeah, can you believe
That's
that?
impressive.
And it gets even crazier, over 30,000% growth over the past decade.
Those are the kind of numbers you don't set very often, especially for a company that's already valued at over $3 trillion, right?
Yeah.
It really speaks to something big happening, a perfect storm of high demand for what they're offering. You've got their innovative products and a market that just can't get enough.
It's true. It's true. Now, the article also mentions that Bank of America analysts are super bullish on Nvidia. They've gone so far as to raise their target price to $190 a share. That's a huge jump from where it is now.
That's a bold prediction. I mean, especially considering the stock's already trading at around $138.
Yeah.
But you know what? Their reasoning is actually really interesting. They cite, NVIDIA's dominant market share. I mean, we're talking 80 to 85%.
Yeah.
But also what they're calling a generational opportunity in the AI market.
Okay.
And they're estimating that this market is going to be worth something like $400 billion.
Wow. Okay, so $400 billion. But what does that, actually look like? What does that mean?
Right.
The article mentions this phrase, insane Blackwell demand. What is that all about?
Yeah, that's the real question, right? Blackwell refers to NVIDIA's next generation AI chips. And the demand is, well, the article says it, insane. We're talking major companies, think Microsoft, really clamoring to get their hands on these things.
So is that what's driving this massive valuation then, these Blackwell chips?
Yeah.
Are they really that much more powerful than everything else out there?
It's not just about raw power, though, yeah, they are incredibly powerful. It's more about how they're actually designed. NVIDIA's really been focusing on building chips that are specifically made for AI, and that strategy seems to be paying off.
Correct.
They've optimized the architecture for things like machine learning and deep learning, which are very different from your, typical gaming or video editing.
Right.
It's like you wouldn't, I don't know, use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail, would you?
Yeah.
These Blackwell chips, they're like purpose-built AI hammers.
Interesting.
And companies are realizing they need that specific tool to really excel in this new world of, well, AI computing.
It does sound like they're in a great spot to ride this wave. But the article does mention that their stock has been pretty volatile, even with all this good news.
Yeah.
Is that something to be concerned about?
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. Volatility is just part of the game, especially with tech. I mean, it moves so fast.
Yeah.
And remember, NVIDIA's stock has been on a bit of a roller coaster the past week alone.
It has, yeah.
It just highlights how important it is to look beyond the excitement.
Yeah.
We need to understand what's really driving this growth. Is this a sustainable trend, or is it just a bunch of hype?
It's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Separating what's going to last and what's
Yeah.
just a flash in the pan. So is this the real deal? Are we headed for another tech bubble?
Well, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? But I
Yeah.
think what we can say is AI is not going anywhere. It's completely changing how we use technology and how businesses, function. But you're right. We need to cut through the noise and figure out if this is sustainable.
Totally. So how do we do that? What should we be looking for to get a sense of whether this generational opportunity is really all it's cracked up to be?
One thing to watch closely is those earnings reports coming up from those big tech companies. See how much they're actually investing in AI. What are they projecting for future spending? Those numbers will tell us a lot.
That's a great point. Put your money where your mouth is, right? So it seems like NVIDIA is onto something huge, this potential gold mine with AI. But there's always that risk.
Absolutely. It's a high-stakes game, and they've got a good hand, but how it plays out, nobody knows. It's exciting to watch.
For sure. Well, that was a wild ride. It feels like we're just scratching the surface of this whole AI revolution. Thanks for joining us as we dug into NVIDIA, their stock market roller coaster, and the race to shape the future of AI.
It's been a pleasure. Always fun to unpack these things.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, thanks for tuning in to Pro Ticker Podcast. Until next time, stay curious.